Hello, dear friend. Today is Sunday, February 14, 2021, St. Valentine's Day, and I am Juan, a messenger of truth, hope, and joy. Humanity will know soon the imminent approach to Earth of the planet comet Hercules, or Nibiru, or Planet X, or Planet 9, or Planet 7X. It has these and other names to contribute to the confusion that although it will not collide with our planet due to its gigantic size and due to its large gravitational and magnetic fields, when it approaches the Earth, it will cause enormous geophysical and atmospheric changes on it, such as never before in thousands of years. The consequences of the approach to Earth of this gigantic comet, actually a planet that orbits around two suns, were already announced and explained more than 1,900 years ago by John in the Book of Revelations, which is the meaning of the word of Greek origin apocalypse. These consequences are specifically part of the 7 cups mentioned in that book. In the 20th century, its arrival was also announced in detail by the great independent astronomer Carlos Muñoz Ferrada, and later also by Gilles Broussard, both silenced and belied by the media that called themselves official. Two contacted by men of the stars, such as Benjamin Solari Barravicini and Teodosio Paz, also warned of his event years ago. I myself, in the 3rd edition of my book entitled Truths About Humanity, finished writing on August 28, 2020, the day of St. Augustine of Hippo, announced its next arrival. But we must not fear the advent of this star, because not at all it will mean the end of the earth or the end of the humanity. It is exactly the opposite. It is the beginning of the end of a period of iniquity, lies, and fear, established on earth that has lasted for eons. Precisely the international cover-up by the dark powers that run the governments of the world of the arrival of this huge comet planet is one of the last great truths known to these governments, which has been intentionally denied to humanity for dozens of years. Because those who hold power in the world know since long time ago the existence and movement at high speed from Nibiru to Earth, its imminent approach, and the consequences of its arrival for our planet. But they keep on deliberately hiding its advent with the undoubted sole purpose of creating panic by announcing its arrival at the last minute. They intend to dominate, control, and subdue the world's population through terror, similar to how they are causing an exacerbated fear and want to control humanity through a generated artificially pandemic, and that is publicized relentlessly by a media at the service of the darkest power. But rest assured, dear friend, that the current situation of great lies, fear, and submission to rules contrary to the condition of man will end. Because the book of Revelation itself, and many other prophets in the history of humanity, such as John of Jerusalem, reported hundreds of years ago that after the great tribulation and purification, represented by the cups that Hercules brings and other future events, comes paradise in earth, and those that awake and change spiritually shall inherit the paradise with capital letters. In short, the arrival of Nibiru is the beginning of the end of the lengthy period of time in which the current economic, religious, political, military structures and media, mostly corrupt and evil in their doms, are going to be destroyed. The approach of Planet 9 is therefore the principle of the definitive end of the bad in capital letters on earth, and the advent of the well also in capital letters. All men should rejoice for it, because man was conceived by God with the divine spark or light of Christ in his heart. But over the thousands of years that has reigned darkness on earth, very few men have been aware and have recognized the existence of such a light in the heart of the man, who points to each and every one of us as one son of God, and therefore inseparable from him. That is, all men are divine beings, and we are all brothers to each other. This is the greatest truth, the great truth with capital letters, who came to convey Jesus of Nazareth, also known as Sananda or Joshua, Michael in his origin, and has been hidden or misrepresented or ignored for 2,000 years. Jesus called that spark as the Nitznutz, because if you recognize sincerely that the divine spark resides in your heart, your behavior changes radically at the turn in an expression alive on earth of infinitive love, the Creator himself of all. But this is a path that each one must travel by himself in a totally free and personal way. In short, it is an absolutely voluntary decision. Each man is free to seek that knowledge at some point in his life on earth, searching within himself, asking his heart, or never doing it. Man has lived deceived for thousands of years and imprisoned, looked in a world full of lies and sustained by pride, greed, lust, anger, gluttony, envy, and sloth. That is, in a very materialistic world that revolves around egoism, the exaltation of the ego in its different expressions. It is therefore evident to all of us that our current world is far from being the paradise that the heart of man yearns for. Since he acquires the use of reason and is aware of the reality of humanity on earth. Because man is neither only a body, nor is a body with an accessory soul. It is exactly the other way around. Man is, above all, a spiritual being, an eternal soul who has embodied in a physical body to experience, to move up the knowledge, and in love, to rise thanks to that knowledge and that love. Why has man been deceived and imprisoned? Because dark extraterrestrial beings that inhabit the interior of the earth, the beast of the apocalypse, and that was also mentioned in the book of Daniel 2,600 years ago as the fourth kingdom of earth, which is different from all other kingdoms, with a technological and intellectual development far superior to ours, because they have 64 million of years in the universe, have used the men of the earth as slaves, permanently and systematically deceiving us, so that we will pursue money, power, or pleasure, and we did not see the light that lives inside us. During the last thousands of years, with few exceptions, such as, for example, the community of the Essence or the Cathars, humanity has not wanted or has not been able to unveil the darkness to see the light. But in the next few years, this veil of darkness will permanently disappear from the entire face of the earth. Our elder brothers of the stars, other ancient humanities from our galaxy and others with an spiritual, scientific, and technological development far superior to ours, have already been taking care of us in silence for a long time. At the same time that they respect our free will to prevent the destruction of Earth and humanity, they will always take care of our planet, a beautiful of the universe, a hive of life and creation. and in these last times of iniquity have struggled and will continue until the aliens that have dominated and enslaved the humanity are expelled from the earth. As always, light prevails over darkness. Love always ends with hate. Forgiveness always ends with resentment. But it is necessary work of men of earth, the free and personal work of each one of us, so that in addition to the metamorphosis that will occur on the earth itself, the change for humanity is completed. The messages of many messengers, such as Gabriel Gardona, Niño Nuevo, or the Sembrador de Luz, Sower of Light. There are many others who have already been on earth for some time transmitting truth, hope, and joy. And this message and other future messages from all the messengers aim to help the awakening of those who want to do it, so that each man can choose his path. Of course, all these messages serve only to activate the flame of the search for self-knowledge on the part of each human being. Each man or woman is free to attend to this call or not. Earth is sure to host paradise. It is the decision of each human being to be part of it or not. For what purpose has this silent revelation fallen to earth, deceived and subdued man? Fundamentally, to feed on our fear and our passions with very low vibration energies, which are what they seek and like to obtain for humanity in their world without love. Because as Nikola Tesla said, everything in the universe is energy, vibrations, light. Matter is actually condensed energy. And to beings that inhabit the dark, in this case inside our earth, like to be fed of the lowest energies, of the lowest vibrations, such as fear, anger, pride, lust, envy. The time will come in another message to go into detail about who are exactly this alien rebellion, known as the fallen angels, Satan, Beelzebub, Lucifer, the ancient serpent, actually reptilian and draconian aliens, and how as they have dominated our planet through their instruments of power on earth, compound at their human cast by the Illuminati, but also by many members of the dons of organizations like the Masonry, the Jews, the Jesuits, some churches, the mafias, by some idols of the show, and by many of those who promote the New World Order, who in turn control many national governments through almost unlimited financial power, and through supranational organizations such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Health Organization. Because the time will soon come when the present media, that also, save very honorable and admirable exceptions, voluntarily or involuntarily have failed the truth with capital letters, will yield to the evidence and will stop hide the reality of man and of what really happens on earth, or they will disappear, because no one will want to hear more lies, because everything, absolutely everything, is going to come to light. The important thing now, and this is one of the main objectives of this message, is to convey that this is the beginning of the change so awaited by all humanity for thousands of years, the beginning of a great tribulation and purification that will lead us to paradise, understood as a world based on love with capital letters, and therefore it will be filled with the true peace, joy, prosperity, and happiness. What can I do so that this change occurs for me, occurs in me? What can I do to inhabit paradise on earth? The change must begin within each man. The answers are in the heart of every human being. Please don't look for them outside of yourself. Trust yourself. Be aware by yourself and acknowledge that the light of God is inside you. Therefore, trust your heart, trust your soul, trust your intuition. The earth is going to change. It is going to purify itself, and you can change. You can purify yourself with it. If you change, brother, in the light of Christ, I assure you that you will inhabit a wonderful world full of love, goodness, peace, joy, and prosperity without limits. In short, you will live with full happiness in the promised paradise. Please allow me to tell you, dear friend, that the way you choose to see, feel, and acknowledge the world around you fits the way you create your life and your existence in the world. If you choose to see negativity, you will create more negativity. If you choose to recognize the presence of the light, of the love, and of the truth, even in the deepest darkness, you will create light, love, and truth for you, your reality, and those one around you. What you choose to think, feel, see, recognize, communicate, and express in each moment creates the reality that you experience and impacts the realities of others. Being a man or a woman, it is clear that I mean both indistinctly when I speak of humanity or of man, is to take responsibility for who you are in the world, and at the same time accept how powerful you can be from the space of the love and the truth. Power is not taking control of others. True power is taking advantage of everything at your disposal to create goodness for you, for other men, and for the earth where you live. Please give yourself the opportunity to experience this immense power in your daily life. You are the true creator of your own existence. You are the screenwriter, director, and actor of your life. If you do not like something, change it and write a new script. Change of essence, space, role, and above all, have fun. Restore and empower your inner child that enjoys innocence, laughter, fun. It is your inner child that embraces, caresses, understands everything without judgment, everything without fear, and does it from an innocence that is pure wisdom and love. If you are like a child, you will lose the fear of any external change and to change yourself, and you can do everything. Please check by yourself how powerful it is to be like a child. Dear friend, in this my first message, please give me a chance to raise some important questions and to provide you the answers that spring from my heart and that are also based on my search for knowledge and my personal experience. What do you think is the first thing that it is needed to turn Earth into a real paradise? Can you create a paradise based on selfishness, like the one that currently exists on Earth? Please acknowledge that the divine spark dwells in your heart. Acknowledge your higher being that is inside you. Feel with your soul and think with your heart, and you will always be right. If you do so, the first thing you will decide is to love yourself, because you cannot love anyone if you do not love before you. And then you will decide to love others unconditionally at all times under all circumstances. Because as more aware you are of your divinity, greater knowledge reach of your true self. And thanks to your true self, and as a result of this knowledge, more aware you are of the power of love, of the power of your love. How do I really express love with capital letters? Can I live with love and at the same time with resentment? Please, always forgive everyone for everything, at all times, starting with the absolute forgiveness of yourself for everything you have thought, done, or said in the past, and everything you think, do, or say in the future. Forgive even who you think is your worst enemy, or the greatest evils, murderers, or perverts who have been or are now enemies of humanity or life. This also requires never judging anyone by anything what they do or say, because you don't know where each soul comes from, why he acts as he does, or where it wants to go. You also do not know if that man, that soul that you consider evil, is a punctual instrument for the spiritual elevation of other men, of other souls. Everyone is free to choose their own path, and it must be respected. Each person uses the time they need to reach their own goal. So please accept and respect the freedom of each one without judging. How do I begin to create the true paradise on earth? How should my relationships with other men be? With basis in the love and the forgiveness, please be always supportive. Share at all times what you have with happiness. Always help whoever needs it around you to the best of your ability, because all men, regardless of race, sex, or any condition, are brothers. Man was born to share, not to compete. Because all men are one with the Creator. We are the being parts of Him. All men are physically and spiritually connected to each other and to God. You just have to be aware of it, and that connection becomes apparent. And when I speak about sharing, I am not referring exclusively to material issues. I am referring mainly to sharing love and forgiveness with everyone. In many cases, solidarity is not expressed with material help, but with affection, respect, and understanding, with a knowing look or a kind word, and also transmitting the truth. How can I achieve peace with capital letters in a materialistic world full of violence, poverty, lies, injustice, and capable of destroying Earth itself, the home where we live? Please align everything you think, everything you feel, and everything you do with the aim of love and forgiveness. And then create the movie of your life with the heart of a child, just as you want it to be. Then you will reach the true peace. Of course, being peaceful does not mean at all being submissive or cowardly. You can resist lies and evil without raising your voice or your hand. Simply speaking the truth and exercising your freedom in a peaceful and firm way. Mahatma Gandhi was a wonderful example of peaceful resistance of non-violent civil disobedience. Because if the laws of the man on the earth go against universal laws, they must be rejected. Specifically, if rules are clearly against, for instance, the freedom, the dignity, the equality, the freedom of expression, the right to life, or the right to security of man, please read the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, among other texts. It is necessary to peacefully oppose those unnatural norms without hesitation. How to connect with my soul and my heart. Please meditate every day, better when you wake up, even if it is only 10 minutes, to focus on yourself and relax. In meditation, you focus on the present, mindfulness, and on your breath, the basis of life. Abstracting yourself, lifting yourself above the events around you. Directed meditation can also get your higher self, your supreme being, your true self, not your ego, to write the script of your life. The main task of a human being and in this world is to remember that it is a divine being, and for that we must move away from the material, giving priority to the spiritual. For that you have to look inside you. It is a free self-discovery that does not require intermediaries, because the answers to all the really important questions are inside you. Please do not look for them outside yourself. Please stay as long as possible in contact with the nature, with plants, animals, water, wind, sun, and walk barefoot on the grass and breathe freely and deeply clean air. If you live in a city, its gardens are a wonderful example of love, of the divinity of Mother Earth herself. Please walk through them frequently. The nature will help you to discover the truth and your own way. Breathe consciously. Always live fully in the present. Let love flow from your heart and fully enjoy life, your life. What can I do to keep my body healthy? Please nourish yourself in a healthy way, mainly through vegetables, fruits, grains, and nuts. Drink plenty of water, as pure as possible, and try to eat frugally, depending on your daily physical activity. Always bless and be thankful for everything you eat and drink. Also, please try not to eat dinner if possible and fast once a week for at least 16 hours in a row. This way you will keep your body healthy and vital. Intermittent fasting is a very powerful form of nutrition. Please do also exercise daily depending on your physical condition. At the least, please try walking or biking every day you can, as with exercise your heart enlarges and then you can feel much better your spirit. Please carry out simple body movements that increase and balance your vital energy and improve your immune system. I recommend to you Tai Chi and Qi Kung. These ancient techniques can be carried out at any age and under practically any physical condition. In case of contracting any disease, please look for natural alternatives, medicinal plants, biomagnetism. In addition to taking care of my soul and my body, how I keep focused when the world around me seems to fall apart. Please stay informed of what is happening in the world, only the essentials. And do not let any news affecting you negatively, whatever the field or the magnitude is, whoever comes from, who affects. Be cool about any negative news you hear or see. A strange situation, don't get so strange when we look at them as an impartial and objective observer, because we no longer get caught up in them or what others think, feel, or say about that news. Please stay away from external noise and pressure and be the protagonist of your own transformation, of your own change. Focus on your heart. Focus on yourself. Do not be afraid at all. Always remember that all men, including your family, friends, and relatives, and those who are not, have a soul that is eternal. Trust your divinity. Trust yourself. But may I trust that the change is coming will be really beneficial for me and for the earth? Please, rest assured, trust that behind the enormous geophysical and atmospheric changes that are to come, the earth will become a paradise. And if you change, you will find true peace and happiness, and you will live in that paradise. It has been written for thousands of years. The decision to follow all or part of what I propose you is exclusively yours, because free will is a universal law of the universe, one of the inalienable rights of man. All my suggestions for you are made first from my heart and then from my own knowledge and experience. Only you, dear friend, can choose and follow your own path. But please ask before doing it to your heart. Only you can decide, if you want, when to look for truth and access knowledge, and how you want to do it. But please do not forget that to be really free, it is essential to first know the truth. In any case, if you have heard or read this message, is that your soul had asked before you were born to be remembered precisely today. What is your true condition? That of a divine being incarnated now on earth to bring it to a new golden age. Please know for yourself and recognize the divine spark that dwells inside your heart. And then you will change, and you will become a new man and inherit one earth that for sure will transform into a paradise of love, peace, joy, and prosperity, definitely on the planet of happiness. Trust fully that you can be one of the inhabitants of the paradise that the earth will become. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. With love, Juan.